Hey there, I'm Robin Baker, and this is video 3 in the top red flags in eating disorder recovery. So, in the last two videos, I discussed other kind of more subtle red flags in eating disorder recovery. This next subtle red flag I think isn't so subtle, but I think sometimes it can be. So, I added it in just why the hell not, right? Um, so, this last red flag has to do with kind of the people you surround yourself with. And I'm taking all of these kind of subtle red flags from clients that I've seen in the past or am currently seeing, and things that they have told me kind of about like what they're going through or reasons why they want to do certain things in their eating disorder recovery. And this last subtle, maybe not so subtle, red flag is that clients will tell me that the friends that they hang out with the most or they see the most do a lot of diet talk or do a lot of clean eating talk, because that's the word now, right? Not diet. They do the talk about, I'm worried about I ate too much at my lunch. I shouldn't really eat this much for my snack. Or if we're going to hang out, we really should do some kind of like a hike, or we should go do some kind of activity before we go eat our dinner so that we don't feel bad about eating. Very kind of disordered eating habits, thinking, behaviors. And these are the people that they surround themselves with or that they're friends with. And when they're going through recovery, these are the people that they're seeing the most as far as friends go. And so this can be a subtle, not so subtle red flag, right? The people that we surround ourselves with have a huge influence on us, more so than I believe social media, more so than magazines, than movies, than any type of other media that we consume, because they are in our physical space. So if we're spending a lot of our time with people that believe they have to do certain behaviors in order to deserve food, or they practice certain behaviors because they are worried about fat or gaining weight, it can really have a negative impact on your recovery, because those messages are getting internalized whether you like it or not, because you're around them on such a frequent basis. So on social media, it can be really easy, because we're hiding behind a computer, to use our voice and say things to people, especially if they're not our real friends. Maybe we're in a group or something, to use our voice and say, this isn't cool to say, or dieting sucks, or you should really accept your body, not try to change it, yada, 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 all those things, right? But in person, it can be a lot harder to say this stuff in person. So there's so many things you can do to, protect your eating disorder recovery or make that your priority when it comes to relationships like this. You can set boundaries. You can say, hey, it really bothers me to hear you talk like that. And it especially bothers me because I'm going through my eating disorder recovery. And it'd really be helpful for me and my recovery if we don't talk about food, or we don't body shame, or we don't body talk, or, we don't worry about fat, or we don't talk about weight. And it'd be really cool too if we could have some kind of meetup or group get together that doesn't revolve around movement in order to enjoy food later. That would really be beneficial to me and my recovery. A lot easier said than done to actually say those things to people that we know and that we're close to. So if that seems too difficult, another thing you can possibly do is not spend so much time with these people, or, make new friends. It's always possible to make new friends. I know it's tough, especially in this day and age, but it can be done. Especially people that don't, diet talk and all that stuff. It might be really difficult to find people like that. So it all comes down to, what is your priority? Is your priority your health, your recovery, your future? Then it might be important, it might be necessary to get rid of some people in your life, as difficult and as harsh as that may be, especially if you've set boundaries and they can't follow through with those boundaries. But in any situation, this is a wonderful opportunity to use your voice, to speak up, and to speak your truth. Yes, you are being vulnerable. Yes, you might get hurt. Yes, you might get disappointed. But the thing is, you are using your voice, and that only goes to strengthen your recovery. If it feels too difficult to speak up and use your voice, ask yourself why. Are these people, why? Are these people you feel comfortable around? Are you trying to fit into whatever they're doing? Do you feel like you need their acceptance and their approval in order to feel good about yourself? This is another time to ask yourself why. I mentioned this in the first video in this series, and this is another place where it's really important to get down to the why. So if you haven't watched the other 2 videos before this one, I encourage you to go back, check them out, because those are 2, I think, more subtle red flags than this one. This one's a little bit less subtle. It's a little bit more overt. But I encourage you to go check those out, especially if you're going through recovery yourself, or if you know someone, you're close to someone that is also going through eating disorder recovery. Thank you so much for watching my video. I'd really appreciate it if you liked this video, and I appreciate it if you leave a comment or a question if you have one for me. If you want to get in touch with me, I encourage you to go check out my website, www.asteyafitness.com. ASTEYA fitness.com, and there you can find a way to connect to me, to either call me or send me an email, and I'd love to get in touch with you. Thanks again for watching. I appreciate it if you subscribe to my channel, and I will catch you next time. Bye.